Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Timothy Holt, and this is 90 and Out. We're continuing our look at the Sermon on the Plain delivered by Jesus of Nazareth outside Caperneum, circa 27 AD. So stay tuned. We're going to be looking at the first part of that speech in this video. It takes place in Luke chapter 6, starting in the 20th verse. If you check out our playlist covering the Great Commission, you can get my take on that. Jesus instructs his disciples before doing a disappearing act. He says, go and teach and make disciples and do some pretty cool stuff. So we're looking at what were those teachings. And the Sermon on the Plain is where we're starting. It's early on in his public life, circa about 27 AD. And it's right outside the city of Caperneum, where he later sets up shop and works out of. So, if you would like to read along, we're looking at Luke chapter 6, starting in the 20th verse. A Sermon on the Plain, some people, just to summarize it, view it as a retelling, if you will, of the Sermon on the Mount, which is found in Matthew chapters 5 through 7. I don't think it is. I think it's a shorter and more impromptu speech that took place later in the day, or possibly the following day after the Sermon on the Mount. They cover similar topics, but there's some very big distinctions, and we're going to look at that right now. So in the 20th verse, we start out with the blessings. Okay, they're also known as the beatitudes. The Sermon on the Mount starts out the same way, but with a little different nuance. Matthew records the Sermon on the Mount saying, blessed are those who are poor. Blessed are those who are hungry. Blessed are those who are... It's more of a general aspect, where the Sermon on the Plain is definitely directed to that specific audience. And with that, he says, blessed are you, poor. Blessed are you who hunger. Blessed are you who weep and mourn. Blessed are you who are outcast. Okay? Because their fathers also gave the prophets the big O-he-ho too. Okay? However, unlike the Sermon on the Mount, here Jesus gives the flip side of that coin. With the next 3 verses, we see the next part of the speech is him giving the other half of it. And this is what I consider the introduction to the overall speech. He starts out with, hey, I know you're sick. I know you're hurting. I know you're impoverished. You're the outcasts of society that nobody wants, nobody likes. But you're blessed. And I'm here to bless you. I'm here to take care of you and to lift you up and put you in a place of honor. And then he gives the flip side, and that's the woes. Woe unto you who are rich, for you have received your consolation. Yeah. It's more directive. Just like the blessings are directed to the poor, the needy, the mourning, the sorrowful. You who are. They're you statements. These 3 woes are you statements. Woe to you who are rich, because you have received your consolation. You've already got the prize. Woe unto you who are full, for you will be hungry. I just picture this long-haired guy walking back into town going, after, giving the Sermon on the Mount, and he finds a lame person, he heals them, finds a leper, heals him, does these cool things, and there's a crowd of the outcasts that wouldn't have been, most likely would not have made it to the Sermon on the Mount. They might not have fit in the venue, at the natural amphitheater, various other aspects, if they're lame, if they had leprosy, they weren't allowed to be around other people to start with. Blind, those kind of people weren't going to be there for the main event, so to speak, the Sermon on the Mount. But Jesus, on his way back into town, they're flocking around him, trying to get at him. And I think that's where this Sermon on the Plain comes from. He's come down off the hillside. He's now into the flat valley part, leading into Caperneum, and this crowd has gathered there. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to teach these people too. And he starts out with the same thing that he talked about with the Sermon on the Mount, the beatitudes, the blessings. But then he adds the woes. Woe to you who are full, for you're going to be hungry. And I don't think he said it like, whoa. You know, hey, you guys who have plenty of food, one day you're going to get hungry. I think he said it more like, whoa! Whoa! To you who is full. Because one day you're going to be hungry. You're going to be starving. And I think that's more along the lines. It's more guttural. However, he transitions into the body of his speech with an interesting line in the woes. Woe to you who all men speak well of, because so they did to the false prophets. That's where we're going to conclude this video. Next week we're going to be looking at the main body of the speech and why that transition is so effective in delivering the speech. It's a very effective transition in keeping the audience's attention, because most people want to be popular. Most people want to be accepted. Most people want to be part of the in crowd. Most people do not want to be despised and outcast and shunned and be hermited. Okay? And that's where Jesus is speaking here. He's saying, whoa, though. Hold on. Stop the presses. Wait a minute. That's not what I'm about. And following me means you can't be about that either. The intro is the blessings and the woes. Okay? They're not straight up curses, they're cautions. The woes is, hold on, wait, whoa, check your motivation type woes. They're not curses, they're cautions. Okay, so he gives the blessings, and then he illustrates 3 cautions, and he ends it with that transition of, when all men speak well of you, take a step back and examine your life and where you're at and what you're doing. So if that's you right now, where it seems like everything is going well and you're in good with everybody, take a step back and see if you're in line with God. If you're a follower of Jesus, see if you're in line with his teachings. Okay? Make sure you've got that relationship. If you're not, I encourage you to start it. Okay? If you have tuned into this video because it came up in your recommendations, great. If you have nothing to do with Christianity and you just thought it was interesting, hey, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Okay? Whatever your thoughts are on the beatitudes, on the woes, the cautions, let me know. If you have any other questions concerning this guy named Jesus of Nazareth, I'd love to hear from you. Okay? If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. If you don't, hit the thumbs down. I'm good with that too. Alright? Just either way, let me know in the comments, and I would appreciate it. Also, if you want more of this content, hit the subscribe button. If you want notified when I upload a new video, I try to upload a new video every week. However, it's not always on the same day each week. So hit that bell. You'll get notified every time I upload a new video to this channel. So thank you. Don't take my word for anything. Pick it up. Read it for yourself. These 66 books, known as the Christian Bible, will impact your life by simply reading them. So there's all kinds of good stuff in there. There's also some pretty, risque and horrible stuff in there too. So no matter what you're going through in life, thank you, and may God richly bless you. This is Timothy Holt for 90 and Out.